Hey everyone, welcome to my channel Proof of Truth. I cover European true crime cases, from murders to unsettling stories, and cases that sit in a moral gray zone. Most of the story I cover are from non-English speaking parts of Europe. If this is your kind of rabbit hole, please hit subscribe button and come along. Today we are traveling to Italy. We are covering the recent case of Sara Campanella. Sara was only 22 years old when she lost her life. She was bright, generous, kind, and well-mannered, cheerful and selfless. She was always attentive to others and looked for a good in everything. She also loved Coldplay. She and her mom shared the experience of going to a concert together, a memory that will stay in her mom's heart forever. She was also very studious and she was studying in University of Messina in Sicily. She wanted to become a biomedical technician. One of her last conversations with her mom was about her thesis. She wanted to write a thesis in oncology and later on specialize in pathological anatomy. She wanted to perform autopsies. She was sharing the same course at the university, biomedical laboratory technician course with Stefano Argentino. And this is where he met her and where obsession with her began. He was 27 years old from Noto, Sicily, but he was studying and living in Messina, the same city as Sara. A colleague of both of them, Sara and Stefano, described him as a quiet type who never hung out with us. He didn't join the group and he isolated himself. Later on was discovered that Stefano repeatedly harassed Sara since at least 1 year, but probably longer. He was keep asking her to go out with him and to get to know each other better. He was really persistent and he didn't took no for an answer. Two incidents that happened that we know of. Once, Sarah's friends needed to intervene because he kept complaining that she is no longer smiling at him. And the other incident that actually happened a month before her murder was a phone call that Sarah recorded. She recorded that phone call and sent it to a friend. In this audio recording, Sarah clearly tells him to leave her alone. She said to him, "I don't have time to waste. I want nothing to do with you. After a year, I hope I have made myself clear. Last time I said, leave me alone. What part of it didn't you understand?" From this recording is clear that she already let him know to leave her alone. And he mumbles and said, "You never said that." Sarah responded, "Now I am saying it again. Leave me alone. Go home and let me go my way. Or do you have to follow me like this?" Stefano answered, "Why are you like this? What do you want from me?" And Sarah said to him, "Nothing. You are the one following me."
E anche, vabbè, metti che non sono fidanzata, non voglio nulla da te.
Allora perché non mi ha detto
Ok?
subito?
Ma quando te lo dovevo dire che non abbiamo mai parlato?
Come mai non abbiamo mai parlato?
Cortesemente, mi lasci stare. Cortesemente te lo dico. Non è il caso che tu mi continui a seguire.
Se è l'unico modo per fare, cioè perché
No, non è l'unico modo perché te lo faccio finire subito. Perché già mi si dio.
pensa a me, pensa a me.
Dov'è questa relazione? Se tu manco sai nulla di me, se tu vedi i messaggi, se tu vedi le chiamate, non c'è niente, non c'è manco una relazione, non c'è manco un che fai, come stai. Non puoi.
Non mandare niente.
No, perché
Non mandare niente.
non puoi, innanzitutto non voglio.
Fidanzata da 1 anno, però mi ha detto a me di uscire.
Sì, in gruppo, te lo
Ma io
ridico,
tre
per me
volte di
possiamo uscire in
uscire-
gruppo.
no,
Forse hai capito male tu. Ancora mi segui?
No, io devo andare a casa, quindi è finito.
Sì, è finita, nemmeno è iniziata.
Sicuramente è colpa mia che
Oddio,
non è iniziata.
signore.
Sicuramente è colpa mia, no?
Quando ti decidi di andartene, cortesemente. Dici che devi scendere, io sto salendo. E perché stai salendo?
L'ultima cosa.
Perché stai salendo? Allora mi devi lasciare in pace. Non te lo voglio dire più.
He was really twisting this conversation, not taking no for an answer. And during the interrogation, he was claiming that Sarah had feelings for him, which was clear as a day she did not. And even if she would have feelings for him, that meant that in his word, he took a life from the girl that had feelings from him. So he still did what he did, feelings or not. But it's clear she didn't have feelings. She asked him repeatedly to stop harassing her, and she even sent a recording to a friend. That to me means that she sent something, that this is not normal. She was seeking for a support of a friend. She was letting other people know, although her family didn't know this was happening. And also, when police look at her WhatsApp history, there was no conversation between him and her, but just he talking to himself, having the monologues and sending the messages to her. And all the messages were ignored. Sara's friend also later shared he was messaging her at all hours at night, really long audio recordings that Sara didn't listen and didn't respond. And he was harassing her in person as well. And on March 31st, 2025, he followed her, approached her, and asked her about the medical procedure she had. And he demanded the answer why she is ignoring his messages he sent to her in January. She tried to get away from him, escape him, but he grabbed her from behind. She tried to break free, but he caught her again and then stabbed her repeatedly before fleeing the scene. She suffered 5 stab wounds to her back and neck. She managed to walk a few meters before collapsing. A bystander said that she was standing waiting for the bus and she suddenly heard loud screams. She saw a girl on the sidewalk opposite of her, and the girl was in a panic, crying and in a bending position. Sara stopped on the same sidewalk as the bus stopped, asking for help and screaming, while she collapsed to the ground. People came immediately to her rescue, but unfortunately it was too late. Stefano fled the scene, taking the knife with him. He didn't went to his Messina apartment, but he actually went to Noto, to his parents' B&B. Noto is around 2 hours from Messina, and this is where things get muddy. Investigators believe that somebody helped him flee the scene. According to judge, his mother Daniela was involved. Later on, a few details came from the interview with his mother. Here it's a little bit unclear and few things don't add up for me. So when he killed Sara, he fled the scene. He called his mother. When Stefano called her, she was on the way to Avola. I am assuming that she was on the way to Avola from Noto. So this is a couple kilometers. This is a city nearby. She gets this call and decides to leave for Messina. Like I mentioned, this is more than 2 hours drive. The mother claims that she didn't know that he committed a murder. He didn't say anything on the phone. But she said that her son was desperate and threatening to kill himself. She decided to stay on the phone line with him to try to talk to him and prevent in case he wanted to do something to himself. On the phone call, he was desperate and said to her that he had failed. He spoke about his inability to feel emotions. Stefano sent her a pin of the location where he is at, and he was picked up by her mother there. With the mother was her husband, so they were basically 2 people in the car. Not sure if this is Stefano's father, I assume yes, but maybe it's a stepdad. Once they arrived at Messina together with her husband, I think she picked the husband up. I am not sure. Or the husband was with her all the time. And they returned together to Noto. So this is another 2 hours something drive. I still didn't know what had he done, she told the officers. Once in the car, Stefano put the hood of his coat over his head. He was soaked from rain, rested his head against the seat without saying a word. Only during the drive to Noto, where the family owns B&B, did Stefano allegedly confess to killing. So he did confess the crime to his parents. However, the parents didn't report him. The police found him through tracking his phone. The police found him in Noto and arrested him immediately. Another weird detail is that the mother of Stefano left the note to the older brother, and on this note she wrote she will be away for a few days due to health reasons. And in the interview she claimed she didn't want to scare the older brother because he was having some sort of problems on his own. We don't know what he is suffering from, so she didn't want to scare him and left the note. What is a mystery to me is two things. So she was already driving when Stefano called. When did she had time to leave the note and possibly picking up her husband? So to me, that means that she must have gone back to her place, leave the note, pick up the husband, and only then went to Messina to pick up Stefano. And why did she said she will be gone for a few days in this note? So she knew something. If a child calls me and shares suicidal thoughts, my brain doesn't jump immediately, I will be gone for a few days, I need to solve this. My brain jumps into staying on the phone with him and try to talk him out and get to him as soon as possible. I wouldn't stop to leave the note. This is sus to me. What do you think? She also added that Stefano has always been a good boy. It's a tragedy for us too. She also mentioned that Stefano had spoke to her about Sara, describing her as a sunny girl he liked, but he hadn't shared further details about their relationship. A lawyer that is representing Stefano's family said that Stefano's mother is in shock, but I say this knowing Sara's family is enduring far greater pain. Stefano confessed to the murder, but during the interrogation he answered just a few questions. He was keep going back to his relationship with Sara, even when it wasn't relevant to the question. He was convinced that the girl somehow returned his feelings, even though he admitted they were never in a relationship. But he didn't talk about his motives, nor did he answer about the weapon. He hinted that his rage was triggered by the last argument, but he gave no details. Even if his rage was triggered by the last argument, he did carry a knife with him. So to me, that smells like premeditation. His lawyer said that he was lucid, but very disoriented by what happened, confused and broken. When asked if he showed remorse, the lawyer said, "Remorse is a big word." Interesting, this is his lawyer, and it's also chilling how he is keep going back to relationship with Sara, even when asked something different. He was keep obsessing with it. He is accused of aggravated homicide, and they also added the charge of exceptional cruelty after the interrogation. Sara's family said that they didn't know what was going on with Stefano. They didn't know that she was harassed. Otherwise, they will make her go to the police. Sara never reported that crime. The source said that she didn't felt so threatened by him, so she didn't felt the need to report him. I am wondering if that would make a difference. What do you think? I consume a lot of true crime, and when we are talking about that kind of obsession, oftentimes even reporting to the police doesn't prevent a crime. Of course, don't get me wrong, it's better to report and you should report it. Her brother Claudio said, "We are worse every day. He killed us all that day. But we will fight for the justice. Our lives are over. She was a ray of sunshine. The support we are receiving is giving us strength. We are grateful, but the world failed us." Also, Sara's mother, Seti, said that her daughter had never mentioned him. Never. None of us knew he existed. No one had ever heard his name. And they were certainly never together. She was never distrustful or guarded, and she probably didn't realize the danger she was in. If we would suspected that something was wrong, we would have taken her ourselves to file the police report. That's how we think. We wouldn't have hesitated for a second. I firmly believe that going to the authority is the right path, and I urge all the victims to speak up. Do it. It's important. Do not stay silent. Whatever snapped in his mind, Sara's mother said, it can never be justified or forgiven. He must have deluded himself. After all, people believe what they want to believe. He must have mistaken my daughter's kindness, which was the part of her nature, for something else. Rector of the University of Messina, Giovanna Spatari, said that as a university we must teach young people to recognize danger and report it in time. They gave Sara a posthumous degree. This was the 11th femicide in Italy this year, and after this murder, the protests erupted. People wearing purple Purple is an official color for violence against women and femicide. And protesters also clench house keys. I didn't know that, but they were clenching the keys because we women often use the keys to protect ourselves when we are walking alone. We hold the key between the fingers like a weapon as a self-defense measure. And that's why they were using the keys in this protest. And this clenching the keys symbolized the fear many women live with when walking alone, especially at night. The lack of safety in public and private spaces, and the freedom denied to women who cannot move freely without constantly thinking about protecting themselves. Like I mentioned, this was the 11th femicide since the beginning of this year. I checked the data, and in 2024, a total of homicides in Italy was 321, and 113 of these homicides was femicides. So a third of the homicides in Italy were femicides, were violence against women. And from these 113, 61 of them were killed by a current or former partner, and the rest of the women were killed within the family environment. And this data is from 2024, and they claim that this got better because in 2023 was even worse. In March 2025, they drafted a law making a femicide a distinct criminal offense. So this law didn't pass yet. They just made a draft. And in this draft, they want that the femicide is punished by life imprisonment, and they also want to increase the sentences for related crimes like stalking, sexual violence, and revenge porn. However, changing the law is not enough. I personally feel that we need to start addressing this while we are parenting our children and also in the education system. Teaching our kids that it is okay to be rejected, that the women or men don't belong to you, that if you break up, you need to respect the boundary. We need to teach kids about the boundaries, teaching the kids about emotional regulation. We need to teach people what is enthusiastic consent. So I personally think law is one thing, but also the society needs to change its view on the women, on the relationships, on the breakups, on the boundaries. Tell me, what do you think? Share your thoughts about this case. In the descriptions, I also shared a common behaviors that person who is obsessed is displaying. I focus on the obsessive behavior when we are not in the relationship with this person. So if you see any of these red flags, please do report it to the police. Thank you for staying till the end. Please like and subscribe, and we see each other in the next case.